Hi, everybody. Welcome to WCA Extra. Kat Leonzoni joins us today. And Kat, you did a great piece yesterday on the Dannemora 10-year anniversary of Dannemora prison break.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack there and everything like that. So I think the best way we can kind of start this off is kind of just to watch kind of a quick recap that you did, and then we can come back and
Absolutely.
kind of talk about it. So
let's
take a look at that right now.
A massive manhunt is underway at this hour.
June 6, 2015. 2 inmates serving life sentences for murder cut their way out of their cell at Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, kicking off a weeks-long manhunt.
The precision of the operation, it was truly extraordinary and unusual and almost impossible to duplicate.
I can assure you that no stone will be left unturned.
No stone was left unturned as hundreds of agents from nearly every branch of law enforcement descended on the North Country to find Richard Matt and David Sweat.
They could be literally anywhere.
The escape from New York's largest maximum security prison making headlines nationwide. Authorities spreading the word in Vermont and Canada too, but also maintaining they thought the men hadn't gotten far.
Do you believe that they are still in this area?
I have strong belief that they are.
And while authorities worked around the clock to find them, they also turned their focus inside prison walls to how the men got the power tools they used to make their escape, cutting through their cells, brick walls, and underground tunnels. It only took a few days for them to zero in on a prison seamstress.
Today we've arrested 51-year-old Joyce Mitchell of Dickinson Center, New York.
Authorities say Joyce Mitchell gave Matt and Sweat the tools that helped them escape and had planned to be their getaway driver. But she backed out at the last second because she didn't want to hurt her husband, who also worked at the prison. Later, authorities would also arrest prison guard Gene Palmer for also supplying tools to Matt and Sweat in exchange for paintings.
If there's one word that I thought of throughout this investigation, it is relentless.
The relentless investigation stretching from days into weeks. Authorities conceded they didn't know where the men were. Towns in rural counties upended and their residents on edge.
Never thought this would happen in a million years.
I can't even sleep at nighttime. I'm scared to death.
But then, 2.5 weeks into the search, a break. On June 22nd, police confirmed a DNA match at a camp in Franklin County, New York. 4 days after that, on June 26th, Richard Matt was killed in a shootout with authorities in Franklin County. And 2 days later, on June 28th, celebrations outside the prison in Dannemora after the manhunt came to a close. David Sweat was shot and arrested in Constable, New York, more than 3 weeks after their prison break.
What does it say? Thank you, law enforcement.
Residents breathing a sigh of relief.
We have been waiting patiently for these men to be caught, so we're very happy.
Obviously, a bit to unpack there.
We're catching me before work, so before childcare.
It's all right. We got double duty.
Got a guest here.
That's what happens. So, Kat, you were also there, kind of when a lot of this went down. First off, so kind of just run me through. This was a Saturday.
Yep.
What you were kind of responsible for when this first came about.
Yeah. So what we had was a Saturday morning where I was working our weekend morning news at the time as our producer, and the show went through, nothing, didn't hear anything. And then after the show, these calls and these emails started coming in that basically were like, there is a manhunt in the North Country, 2 killers escaped from a prison. And it sounds so far-fetched. You're like, there's no way that can be true. But if it is, we got to confirm that and get that out there like ASAP. And I think what stood out to me a little bit was that how long it took them to get the word out to the public that there were 2 killers on the loose and they had no idea where they were.
Yeah.
And that's just like, to me, that was just kind of mind-blowing at the time, because it was like, you expected there to be like an immediate, like, oh, we got to tell people about it. And that was not the case.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, they were discovered missing at, 5 or 6 in the morning. And it wasn't until like, I want to say it was post-newscast. So definitely after like 8 and probably not until like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Where we started actually being able to like confirm things and tell people.
And that kind of leads to my next point here too, is that part of this whole thing led to some, seeing some big gaps in security at Dannemora. You know what I mean? And some prison reform. I have some notes here that says some basic searches weren't happening. The nightly counts grossly inadequate,
or not happening,
or just not happening.
What was happening was they had a process where. And everybody knew this was the case, including the inmates, which is why David Sweat told investigators he wasn't worried about getting caught, where they would pre-fill out the night count cards. So they'd fill out the count for the inmate cards at the beginning of the night and sign off on it, and then just go through the night. And so what you had was this, like, basically the report called it a culture of carelessness that the inmates knew about and took advantage of. David Sweat, I think the word he used was he thought he knew people were, quote unquote, he said lazy. And so he wasn't worried when he was out all those nights in the tunnels getting caught by anyone doing inspections or things like that, because he knew they weren't happening.
Yeah, and and also at this time too, it led to a lot of fear, especially around the area. Again, what was that really like? I mean, you were over there for a good amount of time.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people were just like, because nobody knew where they were. Were just like, they could be anywhere. And of course, when you think a couple of convicted killers who are on the run and potentially have nothing to lose, could be anywhere, that's concerning. And there were, of course, these, checkpoints where people were having to open the trunks of their cars, and it felt really like something out of some sort of movie where you'd be dealing with like a heist or something. And but then once the investigation started going later and later, I think the really kind of big might have some inkling of where they are moment when they found the DNA at the campsite in the Owl's Head area of New York. There was then we know they're maybe not in these other communities. I think a few people breathed a little more of a sigh of relief when that happened. And then of course that also kind of ruled out they're already in Mexico, and no one's ever going to find them sort of possibility, and that kind of ratcheted up the manhunt. And I remember that pretty clearly. It was like, this could end here too. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the one thing I wanted to point out too is that there was a gun store that said we sold out of shotguns at the time, which is just there were a lot of people I think who really viewed that as a moment of I need to have something around the house to protect myself with in case this in case they come to knocking on my door. Or not knocking, just
Yeah, but I think I was going through all of our coverage from last night. You have a 10-minute block just to kick off in the web article, and then there's the reporter debrief between you and Darren. It's a lot of coverage. Yeah, and it was. Going through, especially to me, the report that kind of detailed some of the failings was really interesting, and just the way that they broke out was just fascinating. And just it truly was out of Hollywood, which is why there was funny. A whole series that Ben Stiller directed. That was all about how they got out. Yeah, so it's just definitely a crazy time to cover that for Newswise. Now 10 years ago. So and I can't honestly. It's been a fast 10 years. I don't even believe it. Well, gotcha. Well, Kat, thanks so much for hopping on. I know you're doing double duty right now. So we'll swap you out for Peter. But again, thanks for shedding some light on this. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. All right. Well, we're taking a look at air quality right now. Peter is moseying his way over. But again, some great insight from Kat there about Dannemora from now 10 years ago. So. I can't tell you anything about this because I don't know anything. But don't worry, our trusted guy is here.
Here I am.
What can you tell me?
What can I tell you?
Yeah.
The good news is it's good news and bad news for the weekend. So it could be a lot worse, but you know what?
Yeah.
We've had a lot worse weekends, and this weekend really not looking all that bad. For now, I want to show you the view on satellite and radar here locally. Did see a few rain showers out there this morning. A lot of that rain now starting to wrap up, and we kind of find a little bit of dry time here through the late morning and into the early afternoon hours. Not completely done with the rain quite yet, though. The view from Burlington, Rutland, Middlebury, Linden, all showing a good deal of cloud cover out there, and I think we all in all feature a bit more cloud cover here through the rest of the day today. Temperature-wise, starting off the day in the mid to upper 60s and lower 70s out there. Here's where we go through the rest of the day. Chance at a few more showers and thunderstorms rolling through here, especially across central and southern portions of the area here through the late afternoon and early evening hours. Here's 4 o'clock here on Futurecast. See some of those deeper shades of red starting to pull up. Indications of maybe a few thunderstorms. Maybe a few thunderstorms are potentially on the stronger side of things here, especially again across central and southern portions of the area. Really primarily thinking Rutland, Windsor, Bennington, and Windham counties. Probably the best chance of seeing a few of those thunderstorms. Into the night tonight, a few rain showers out there. We'll pick up Futurecast once again here tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. I want you to notice the St. Lawrence River Valley. They're already starting to break out in a little bit of sunshine. We are still hanging on to a few rain showers, though, across central and southern portions of the area. That sunshine activity that we saw in St. Lawrence County, gradually pushing off to the north and east. Here's noontime tomorrow, just around lunchtime, in Plattsburgh, Burlington, the Champlain Valley, starting to see that sunshine come out, and we all start to see that sunshine emerge here as we head through to late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Maybe just a stray leftover rain shower or two. That sunshine we see Saturday, that's going to carry over here into the day on Sunday, and Sunday looking to be pretty nice here. In terms of how much rain we're talking about, it really is going to be the further south and the further east you look that sees the most rain. Generally thinking a widespread inch to an inch and a half, maybe some locally higher pockets of maybe 2 to 2+ inches. There could be a little bit of minor ponding on some area roadways. The rivers, streaks, and creeks might rise a little bit as a result of all that rain that we're talking about. But then again, look off to the further north and west you are. The rain totals quickly dropping off. So here's that weekend forecast. Some morning rain showers here for your day tomorrow. Afternoon clearing, and then that sun gradually starting to emerge here through tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Nothing but sunshine here for the day Sunday. Temperature's pretty pleasant. We're basically going to be hanging out in the mid to upper 70s here through the next several days. Dew points dropping from the 60s back into the 50s this weekend, so starting to feel a bit more comfortable as well. Even when that sunshine comes out, we're not talking about the hazy conditions either. That smoke starting to make its departure here into the weekend. Your forecast for the rest of the day today. It's a mixture of sunshine and clouds, a few scattered showers, and thunderstorms. Temperatures here for the day, climbing back into the 70s. Tonight, we fall back into the upper 50s and 60s once again. Hang on to the chance at a few rain showers tonight. Into your day tomorrow. Morning rain showers to start off the day tomorrow. Then again, afternoon clearing and sunshine emerging here through especially tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. 7-day forecast shows sunshine for Sunday. Probably a bit more cloud cover here for the day Monday. Maybe a few rain showers into the day Tuesday. Got the sunshine back for Wednesday and Thursday, and we were remarking about all morning long, John. Temperatures here over the next 7, really not moving all that much. Going to hang out in the mid to upper 70s.
And I really wish it was 7. But it's not. We're just about off just a few degrees on Tuesday and
Wednesday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at least we're consistent.
Yeah, we're consistent. It's pretty close to where we should be for this time of year, too.
Yeah, it's about time, huh? I think every single time you and I chat about the weather, it's like, well, rain again.
Yeah, we've been so used to the ups and downs. It'll probably be nice to see this consistency. And you know what? I said it before, the weekend does feature a little bit of rain, but all things considered, this weekend looking a whole lot nicer than the past couple weekends we've had. Oh, we'll definitely live. A little bit of rain on Saturday, nothing compared to the soakings that we've seen here the past couple weeks.
Oh, thank God. Thank you, Peter.
Yep.
And thanks for watching WCAX. Of course, you can see us again, Channel 3 News at noon.
Yep.
Not you. And then all of our evening shows and our web content at WCAX.com. Till then, see you then. Have a good weekend.